Okay, so a huge thank you to our previous discussion. Now, our next keynote might speak to a lot of you in the room. While unicorns in the industry used to be a kind of rarable, now it seems they're more and more common. So now we're going to be talking about tokenization, really attracting and helping high evaluate unicorn organizations. So I'm going to give the floor now to Ziv Keinan, co-founder and CEO of Simetria. Let's have a round of applause for Zig.
Thank you. Thank you for everybody that's here, that is stayed and listening to me today. My name is Ziv Keinan. I'm the CEO and founder of Simetria. We provide secondary market solution for late-stage growth companies. We're based in Israel, where there's a lot of late-stage companies. And I want to start with a little story about this picture, which you see here. It was published in an Israeli newspaper when Israel hit 90 unicorns at about $250 billion worth. And before this conference, I called the creator of the picture and asked the artist if I can use his picture. And he said, yes, you can. And I just want you to know that I dedicated these pictures to the great teams that building great companies. And that's exactly what Simetria is about. Simetria is about the great teams that is building wonderful companies. So I guess like a lot of people here in this crowd is holding equity in private companies, whether as investors or teams that actually build companies. And how much is that equity out of your entire net worth, right? Elon Musk, for example, his almost entire net worth is the companies that he built. And last month, Elon took a loan against one of the companies that he owned and actually financed his next acquisition of Twitter. So can you finance anything with the private equity that you own? Can you sell the equity which you own? This is the opportunity in this market. This is what we found at Team Simetria, where we tried to sell equity in growth companies, which we have built. The process of selling equity on the secondary market is slow, it's manual, it's painful. Basically, you fill up a form, then there's a phone call to set, and next it's you against the company. You just go and try to persuade the company to allow you to sell. Brokers that work in the secondary market are usually working in silos. Each one has its own liquidity pool, and actually, if you hold a small stake in the company, then the chances of you meeting liquidity is actually nothing, unless the company sponsors the liquidity plan. And this is actually exactly what we're offering. We're offering liquidity plans to companies. We also offer a venue where employees can list. And we also have trading services that we provide in our own jurisdictions, and we are licensed to do that. And the benefit for the company is that you become very competitive. You'll be able to offer a higher compensation package and allowing your employees to feel the success of the company be tangible even before the IPO. And it's already happening. We are processing now hundreds of $millions of transactions of few unicorn companies, which are our design partners. So what is the liquidity plan all about? It's basically a platform what you implement inside your company. We act as an information agent within this company, and the company decides on the parameter of the sale, how much every eligible participant is allowed to sell, who is defined as eligible participant, who is not, what is the different documentation that is needed in each jurisdiction. So there's a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of taxation, there's a lot of consideration that is coming. In our jurisdiction, there's also trustees, which you have to take into account. So we actually aggregate the entire process. Then the employees receive a link. Through that link, they can enter into our platform. They can define how much they are holding, and they can participate in the sale. This is happening simultaneously. Right now we have over 200 team members that are selling on the same time frame. So how does price discovery is done? Price discovery is done through other regulated entities in other jurisdictions which have their necessary licenses to market those investments. And through the Onera FinP2P network, we're expecting to offer those shares. When a secondary transaction happens, we always try to purchase a block into a special purpose vehicle, and then having this special purpose vehicle tokenized and offered throughout our network. And as I mentioned before, in February last year, we received a non-action letter from the Israeli Securities Authority that basically allows us to operate a bulletin board style of a trading system, and we allow those SPV shares to be traded on our platform. If you're an employee, we have an offer for you. That's basically a website. You can list in the website, and you can also send a link to your friends which work with you at the same company, and they can list with us and together initiate the sale. Restricted token units, I'm going to say something about it. This is a program that we're working on right now. So to understand what restricted token units, you understand what is RSU. RSU is basically a promise which your employee give to the employer, saying that if certain restrictions are met, you'll be able to receive a share of the company. It's a great program, and it's superior to ISO or ESOP in the terms that you don't have to finance your right to receive this equity. But the problem is when this security eventually vests, then there's a taxation event. While with RTU, with restricted token units, basically we can create a liquidity event which happens when the stock matures. So the taxation happens when you meet money, you can pay for that taxation event, and basically creating an asset class of a liquid RSUs. So what's happening in this private market? First thing you need to know is that time for a company to go IPO is just increasing from year to year. Right now it's about 12 years. In '99 it was 4 years. The value of companies that IPO has risen to over $4 billion. And we see a steady increase in the number of unicorns, which are now over 1,000 unicorns worldwide. And you're probably asking yourself what's happening now with the recent crash in the markets, the downturn in the markets. So with this secondary market which we follow called Forge Global, actually we've seen now that it's still traded and very high multiplies and wasn't affected. I think that the market is expecting that the private market solution like ourselves, like Forge Globals and others, would continue to provide liquidity for those companies which now cannot IPO. Total size of the market at 3.3 trillion, over 1,000 unicorns worldwide. We estimate the market at 330 billion. We launched early 2020, and right now we have full integration with the blockchain, and we're working out now to execute our first secondary sales with our clients. I want to thank our investors that are now in the crowd. Of course, Draper Goren Holm, Consensus Capital, and so on. And thank you very much.